Welcome to Jason Bytes Back, episode number 14, the series of which where I answer questions, respond to comments, and otherwise just ramble about random crap. Plex is awesome and everything, but if you really want to squeeze the most features out of your Plex media server, you can get a Plex Pass. Now, while there are many benefits to having a Plex Pass versus a free user account, my favorite one is getting early access to new features that Plex has not yet released to the general public. So if you're like me and you want to try out those new features, check out the description down below. Down there you can either purchase a Plex Pass for yourself or a friend, and hey, if you don't have a free account, use my link as well. It helps me out. So check out the description down below to get your Plex Pass today. Today's video is brought to you by my awesome Patreon subscribers. If you are a subscriber, look out for your name at the end of this video. I do want to say thank you everybody who's a Patreon subscriber. Whether you're $1 or $10, you mean a lot to me. Thank you. So it is the beginning of July. Well, technically it's the end of June for me, but the video will come out at the beginning of July. Halfway through the year, and I've been kinda sorta doing some pre-planning for CES. I don't know if you remember, but back in January I made the decision, hey, I really wanna go to CES, so I made a video just saying I wanna do this, it has to be a thing, and I'm starting to, look into flights and hotels and, other stuff like that. The crazy thing is that most of the cheaper hotels that are around, or at least somewhat near the convention center, are all sold out. So, really the one right next door, the Westgate Las Vegas Resort, that's like kind of expensive. It's like $520 a night. Well, that's the one that's really still available. So I'm kind of on the fence. Like, do I really want to spend that much money per night for a hotel that I really won't spend a whole lot of time in? Or do I just, go to a cheaper one like way down the block and then just take longer to get to and from? I don't really know. Either way, it was kind of interesting because I was playing around with NordVPN, using it to connect to like other countries, some countries that maybe the average household income is lower than the United States. And oddly enough, I found that I saved almost $200 through Expedia.com, I think mostly off of the flight itself, not the hotel, but the flight itself, just by shopping for the packages, routing it through a different country. So I thought that was kind of weird. Now, in fear of sounding shameless, I'm not trying to sell NordVPN. I think any VPN service out there would be able to do something similar like this for you. Yes, I have an affiliate links through NordVPNs. You get a pretty good discount for using those links, but the gist of this whole thing that was kind of surprising to me was that depending on what country you connect from, depends on what prices you get on things like flights. Did a little bit of Google research, and that's apparently not a new concept. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Although a little side tip, I've been attempting to make a video dedicated to this topic and recreating it, doing different things, like flying within the United States, flying outside of the United States, little vacation packages. I almost thought about going to New York over my birthday, but I was playing with it, and it's kind of hit or miss. It really is. It changed the price for Las Vegas, but it didn't change the price for New York. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird. And if you guys have a VPN or use a VPN, I'd be interested to see if you try it yourself. And if you do, report down below your results, but always use a private window. So if you're using Chrome, go Control-Shift-N, it opens up a private window from your own IP address, search a vacation like dates, and then look for a hotel. After you do that and you close that window, connect to a VPN, connect to a different country, maybe, a lower income country, and then open up a new private window and run the exact same search. Tell me if it's cheaper for you. So this is kind of a crowdsourced little experiment here. So if you have a VPN and you're bored and you want to waste some time, I want to see what the results are. For the next topic though, I want to talk about client testing. I'm halfway through it right now. I've already tested the Apple TV 4K, the 1080, the Roku Ultra, and the Roku Stick. I have on order right now all of the Amazon Fire TVs, including the stick, the TV, and the new Cube that they came out with that apparently has Alexa built right into it. So that's cool, that's on its way. I want to test those out. Also, I'm testing out the NVIDIA Shield again. I don't know if there's any hardware changes from last year, but either way, I'm bringing it back in to see what, updates might have changed or whatever. I just want to put it head to head with the current lineup of clients to see which client is going to be the best for Plex. Look out for that video probably sometime mid-July. I'm kind of waiting on things to get delivered at this point, so it might be a little bit. And June, oh my gosh, June was just full of products. I mean, I know it wasn't a ton of products, but I had the Deco, I had the Action Cam, I had the Dash Cam. Okay, maybe there wasn't that many products. Either way, a lot of videos were just over products that I thought might look interesting. So I was like, sure, send it over. I'll check it out. And then, everybody wants their video done really quick. And then you realize you're putting out product videos and you like to sprinkle those in, but you don't like to overload on product videos, if that makes sense. Really, I've been kind of itching to do another project, a real project, something interesting to me. Like I've actually been thinking about redoing my computer room to make it a little bit more interesting. I don't know, rearrange the desk, maybe set up some mounts for my monitors. I have two 43-inch 4K monitors right now from LG. I love the monitors, they're great, but I was thinking of getting something to mount those two and then use my other monitors that I have, the two 27-inch 1080p monitors, and mount those. And I don't know, I was just thinking about a project, but it's actually very difficult to find a monitor mount solution that handles 43-inch monitors. I even tossed around the idea of getting a third 43-inch monitor just to kind of level it out, so I had I don't know, just symmetrical monitor space. But I don't want to do that because I don't have any room on the desk right now for another one, and it'd just be kind of overkill anyways. But if I found a solid triple monitor mount that handles 43-inch monitors, I might do that. I mean, as long as it's reasonably priced, I don't know. So anyways, if anybody knows of any affordable triple monitor mounts that can handle up to 43-inch monitors, I might start a little computer room, remodeling project video. So that'd be kind of cool. With the rambling out of the way, let's get to the questions. And the first one is from Patrick. He said, you mentioned the subreddit Home Lab. Are there any other subreddits that you would recommend for Plex or home networking /labs in general? Really, the only other subreddit that I sometimes reference, especially if I'm looking for Plex related topics, is literally just /Plex. I mean, it's dedicated to Plex, got a lot of good people in there. They troubleshoot a lot of different things. If you have any questions or anything, you can usually post it there and they'll help you troubleshoot stuff. So I go there quite a bit. So I don't really post a lot there. It's more of just casually browsing. Next question is from Raul. Are you from Denmark? No, I'm not. What do I look like I am? What does somebody from Denmark look like? I don't know. But I'm not. Do I sound like I am? Next question. Actually, so one of my product videos, I featured me making a cheeseburger, and it is my self-proclaimed best cheeseburger in the world, and I put it on some sliced bread. Placing a burger on sliced bread. You get a pass this time, Jason, but only once. And then past that, he said, want some burger with your ketchup. Two things. One, if you don't eat a lot of burgers and you go out and you buy like an 8-pack of hamburger buns, and you eat like 2 of them, then 6 of them go to waste. However, if you buy a full loaf of sliced bread, then you can have sandwiches and then you can also use them for hamburgers. And I tried freezing hamburger buns once, but you thaw them out and they're just not the same. Like, they're really bad. And yes, I do love condiments. I do. I love ketchup, ranch, salsa on breakfast burritos. Holy crap, I can eat a lot of salsa on breakfast burritos. I love condiments. Sam, so Jason, what is your camera of choice and installed right now? I'm leaning towards Reolink. Like to hear your recommendation. Wi-Fi or PoE are fine, but Blue Iris compatibility is preferred. Now, I wanted to bring this up because I thought about making a dedicated video. He was leaning towards Reolink. And honestly, I have a lot of Reolink cameras. Reolink's been nice to me as far as sending me products for review, and overall Reolink have really great cameras. The only flaw that I've really noticed after using so many Reolink cameras is that in my personal experience, both here and at work, because I recommended Reolink to my boss when we installed our new camera systems, they love to disconnect from the DVR or NVR or Blue Iris or whatever. At work, we have a DVR, so it's just pulling that stream constantly and always recording, but they'll randomly drop out and lose signal. And to get them back up, you either A, have to wait and they'll just randomly sometimes come back up, or you have to reset the cameras, which is like literally unplugging it and plugging it back in. I guess you could use the app and reset it that way, but still, it's a pain in the butt. And here at home, I have a lot of Reolink cameras, some Wi-Fi, some wired, doesn't matter. They randomly drop connection all the freaking time. I talked to Reolink about it on Twitter and they recommended dropping the bitrate or the resolution, just overall dropping the quality down. And that seems to have reduced the amount of disconnects from the camera itself from Blue Iris, but it still happens. I've tested some other cheaper cameras, but really the best camera I've ever had that has audio, just solid video quality, and just great all around, it's Power over Ethernet's that Ubiquiti G3. That is literally the best, most reliable camera that I've ever used. It has 0 disconnects and it just works. It's expensive, but it works. It works fantastic. That last cheaper camera that I reviewed, it's like the no-name IP camera. It works pretty well, and that was another one of those things. I just plugged it in and pointed Blue Iris to it, and it just freaking worked, and it was awesome. It doesn't have any sound, so you kind of lose out on that. However, it's only $70, so it's kind of hard to argue with the price. Point is, if you are looking at setting up a new camera system utilizing Blue Iris as your NVR software, maybe look at something other than Reolink. Unless you want to go full-blown Reolink and then use the Reolink software, which maybe that's going to be more reliable as far as not, dropping those connections. If you utilize Blue Iris, you might be suffering from some random disconnects from your cameras. But moving on from that, Stony Eagle says, can I buy a burger from you? Well, I can't actually sell you a burger, Stony, but I will tell you my secret recipe. Are you ready? You got a pen? Write this down. The base recipe is pretty much 1 pound of beef, make sure it's lean beef, and then put in ½ a pound of maple bacon. Now this is basically just bacon that tastes a little bit like maple syrup, but oh, it is delicious. You cut the bacon package in half and then you use your little, shear scissors that comes with your little knife set, and then you just cut it into small chunks and you mix that all in together. Then of course you have to do a healthy dose of a mixture of different seasonings, whatever your, preference might be. Mine personally is, just like salt, pepper, garlic, and then there's like this seasoning that's like a mesquite barbecue mixture. Anyways, I pre-mix all of this and I use it on my steaks. So I just pretty much dump a bunch of that in. You gotta just kind of season it to where you think it would taste good. Salt is delicious, so yeah. Then you take some Worcestershire sauce and you put it in there. I don't measure anything apart from the bacon and the beef. So a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Am I saying that right? Worcestershire?
Worcestershire, yeah.
And then you take a chunk of onion. Again, I don't really measure it. I just cut off, let's say the onion's this big. I just cut off like, that much of a slice. And then I chop it into like super fine. And then I like chop it into like semi super fine, little chunks. And I mix all of that in with the burger. After you mix it together, you make some patties, you throw it on the grill. It has to go on the grill just so you can get that nice, fire charcoal on the side of it. Make sure to put some cheese on it and it will be the best burger you've ever had. Guaranteed. Kind of guaranteed. Most likely. Next question is from Richard. What's up with the assault rifle in the basement? I thought you lived in Kansas. Didn't know the Canadians were close to attack. Are you sponsored by the NRA or something? Oh, Richard, I'm sorry I scared you with my assault rifle in my video. Don't cry. At least once a year, we go out camping and we have this like a long range target practice thing going on, and it's fun. Plus zombies. Zombies are a thing. I don't know if you know this, but I'm watching this documentary right now, or at least I started watching it. It's called iZombie. You should check it out. Zombies actually exist. So when they attack, it doesn't matter where you live, you will need to be able to defend yourself. And from Ron, not a Plex expert here, so forgive if this is a dumb question, but how about making a RAM drive on a USB flash drive? So much cheaper than some options. I mean, technically it would probably work for a while. I can say this, that, that memory on those drives are kind of limited as far as how many rewrites you can do. So it would possibly break down quicker than you would hope for if you use your server a lot. And two, yeah, it is cheaper, but it is infinitely slower than a RAM drive. So if you're like in a pinch and you have absolutely no other options and you have to use a USB disk to transcode to, I'm sure you could get it to work and it would probably function decently, but you would have to make sure it was a USB 3.0 to get any kind of decent speeds out of it, which it could still possibly be done and still work within a reasonable speed. I'm stumbling through this right now. I just can't imagine using a USB disk for your transcode folder. Just use an SSD or a RAM disk. Brian, I feel your channel has reached a point where you can update your intro to something more sophisticated. I've thought about it, Brian. I thought about it. But creating an intro is always so complicated for me. I don't know how to make it sophisticated, make it good and glorious and amazing. I'll have to chew on that. And Dandy. Is WD Green hard drives a reasonable choice for a media server with being on a budget? Maybe. When it comes to storage, it's really hard to recommend anybody to cheap out. I mean, let's say you save yourself 20 or 30 bucks going, to a green from a red. Is it really worth it? I mean, the red drives are literally designed to be powered on in a network attached storage device all the time. That's what they're made for. Green drives are slow and they're just meant to not be used as often. It's just like cold storage drives. And while they will work, and I have at least one green drive in my server right now, I would not recommend relying on them for your entire media server collection. Yes, they are cheaper. They still have the same capacity. The red drives are 5,400 RPMs, or at least the base model ones are. The green drives are 5,400 RPMs. So a lot of specs on paper are similar, but red drives are designed to run all the time. Because they're designed for it, I would recommend going with at least red drives. I will say this, when I switched over to Unraid, I ran all of my hard drives through the Unraid, that pre-clear thing that they have. I can't remember exactly, but I did have 2 Western Digital red drives that were almost to the end of their warranty period. I think they were 4 terabyte, and they had just a couple bad sectors. And it wasn't anything that was like a dire reason to return it and get a warranty out of it, but it was enough to send it into Western Digital to get a new refurbished one and just make sure that it was solid when I put it into the new Unraid server. But other than that, out of the 20 different drives I have, they have all been really solid, no errors, just excellent performing drives for my needs. So with that experience, I would just stick with that. As long as you don't go with Seagate. I hate them forever. I have no recent experience with them, but I've had a lot of their drives fail. A lot of the older drives before I switched to Western Digital. So your mileage may vary. And that is all for the questions today. Well, that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions or comments that you want to have a higher chance of being featured in next month Jason Bytes Back video, post them down below, because I always look at the last month's video first before I go through the rest of my comments. Thank you again to all of my Patreon subscribers. You guys are awesome. I will feature your names at the end of this video as promised. Seriously, thank you. Other than that, thank you for watching, like and subscribe below, and have yourself a good day.
Circles hand in hand, and appearing to have lost all control over their senses, continued dancing, regardless of the bystanders, for hours together in wild delirium.